on a small recap.
Okay, sell on bounce. Hemant is pretty negative on OMCs and hence his recommendation comes in as such. All right, moving on. Vivek, Titan today is showing some strength despite the weakness in the market. Brokerage recommendations, what are they suggesting?
Well, Mubina, very interesting note coming in from Morgan Stanley as far as Titan is concerned. What they've actually done, despite the sharp surge you've seen in gold prices throughout, they've actually gone ahead and upgraded the stock to an overweight stance from an equal weight earlier. And they've also increased the target price as well as they've increased their EPS estimates across both FY21 as well as FY22. What they're saying is that the higher gold prices in the long term may not actually impact the jewelry demand as far as India is concerned. They believe that Indians' affinity towards gold is something that is here to stay. And also what they're saying is that the past trends, especially in such times, have actually indicated possibility of strong growth. They're also saying that the company is actually doing unprecedented kind of promotional activity, and they believe that this is something that is going to augur quite well. So which is why you're looking at Titan today up quite strong, up over 1.5% in the session.
Well, Titan has really been a play on that move from unorganized to organized. That as well is something that the brokerage note is is pointing out too. Stock is higher by 1.5%. Okay, stock number 4, Varun Syndicate Bank. A neat gain today seen on S&P's upgrade. But what's really the trigger for that upgrade, which is really a rarity when it comes to a mid-cap PSB?
Yeah, all the headwinds facing PSBs, it's quite, unlikely that there would be an upgrade, but S&P has upgraded the rating to positive. Now, when all the PSBs mergers were first announced, Canara and Syndicate were a preferred pair. The complementary portfolios, geographical locations, rationalization efforts will see the maximum, realizations here. And it's also one of the best picks among the merged PSBs. That's the only reason I can assign today, really.
Off the day's high, but still gaining approximately 1%. That's Syndicate for you. Okay, another stock that's gaining smartly is BEL. Remember, yesterday we did have that big order win that really did amp up the order book and the visibility for BEL. It was a prestigious order from the IAF worth more than 5,700 crore rupees. And that is something that will confirm the order inflow guidance that BEL had given of 15,000 crore rupees. And like I said, it improves the visibility. But not just that, yesterday we did have Morgan Stanley as well, being very optimistic on BEL. They have a target price as well of around 116 odd rupees. On the back of this, they believe that there is some clarity on maintenance contract awaited. But nevertheless, they have an overweight target not too far from the current market price, 116 odd rupees. All right, moving on, Hemant, ONGC. Yesterday we did see the energy pack trade very weakly. ONGC, however, stood out. And interestingly, today as well, it's managing to stand out. It's 0.5% higher. What's your view?
I would have a hold, Mubina. We had a 6 trading session sideways movement, and we've sort of given a mini breakout from there. Stock has posted a high top, higher bottom on the daily chart. The mechanical indicators have signaled a buy. Simply put, it's a very slow-moving stock, takes its own sweet time, but on technical parameters, it's looking promising. Further upside seems to be in the cards. Hold stop loss 128, target 130.
Okay, slow-moving stock, but Hemant has a hold on ONGC. Okay, Vivek, can't ignore the move in a graphite India. It's certainly been surging for the last few days, though today it's taking a bit of a breather.
Well, that's right. Mubina, in fact, what's actually happened is that most of these stocks, they were up for 8 straight sessions. In fact, graphite as well as HEG saw, increase in their prices of almost 40% in the last 7 to 8 trading sessions. However, we've seen a lot of articles, we've seen a lot of reports where there hasn't really been too much of a demand uptick, or even prices haven't really been that firm. In fact, some of the data that's coming from China actually indicates that prices continue to trend lower. So it's been quite surprising the kind of surge that these stocks have seen. However, today both of them seem to be correcting, and graphite is down almost 4.5% in the session.
All right, that is Graphite India, 4.5% down in trade. Okay, Hindustan Copper, there's an ET now exclusive piece of news of the year, and you are seeing that sharp reaction come by in the stock. Ruchi Bhatia broke the story right here just a couple of minutes ago. She said that sources are suggesting that the government is actually considering completely exiting Hindustan Copper, and Niti Aayog has advised that DIPAM should consider strategic sale. In fact, it's supporting the stake sale of Ashoka Hotel as well in New Delhi, and the sale is pretty interesting because a lot of players would be keen to buy the Ashoka Hotel due to the prime location. But of course, for now, in the listed space, it's Hind Copper that will be in focus. You did see a sharp surge come by in the stock price, almost 1% higher. Remember, we at ET now have been on top of the divestment story, and latest on the radar, of course, is Hind Copper gaining around 0.1% in trade. Varun, Axis Bank, today the Nifty Bank continues to go in the red, and Axis Bank really is leading the losers in the banking space.
Right, Mubina. So there was a SG and HK investor meet which Macquarie participated or organized in, and the feedback for Axis Bank has not been good. Now, Macquarie's official view on Axis is that it's negative given new stress. There's consistent miscommunication between what the bank reports, not specifically with financials, but with what overall market conditions are, and then the results don't seem to tally. The ROE guidelines have also been trimmed from 18% to around 15-16%, and the capital raise and the size of the capital raise that they were planning and the price at which they were planning it doesn't look likely anymore given the current environment. So all this is applying downward pressure on the stock today.
Okay, that is Axis Bank, 654 rupees, 2.5% lower, one of the top Nifty losers. Kaveri Seeds, take a look at that stock, a nice uptick seen over there. This after the company yesterday announced that the board will be meeting on the 24th of September to mull over a buyback. This is something that's caused the stock to go higher today in trade. 24th September, that's 1 week from now, is when final decision of the buyback will be taken, and subsequently we'll know the buyback price as well. For now, stock is at 539 rupees. All right, the Nifty IT in the red today after some resiliency in the last few sessions. Tech Mahindra is among the big losers. What's your view?
I think, Mubina, Tech Mahindra quantifies as a sell. Multiple reasons why I'll say that. The daily MACD is giving a sell today, Mubina. Not only is the stock overbought, we're seeing a small short build-up happening, not major. The hourly, 2 hourly, 4 hourly charts are showing weakness. The indicators have already given a crossover sell and given a small lower top, lower bottom. So simply put, it looks stoppish and we are set for a decline. So sell on a small bounce, stop loss 724, target 688.
Okay, 724 is essentially the stop loss, target 688 for Tech Mahindra. Okay, can we look at the Rise with India small case, see what that one is up to currently as the markets continue their downward journey. Unsurprisingly, even the RWI small case is in the red. We're losing 1/3% at 522 for now. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's continue with the countdown of movers and shakers. And Vivek, what does Nomura have to say about ICICI Pro? I mean, all these insurance companies, of course, have been about because it's been that one pocket of strength and growth as well, despite the weakness in the market.
That's right, Mubina. Mubina, in fact, what actually happened was that ICICI Prudential recently saw quite a bit of downtick on the back of the fact that the ULIP plans were something that weren't seeing too much growth. However, Nomura is saying at this point of time that's not really too concerning. They believe it's in line with what the market was anticipating. They believe that ICICI Prudential is very well placed within the insurance space. And they're actually saying that it has quite a few advantages over the other peers as well. So at this point of time, they believe they see very strong growth over FY19 to FY25 for most of the listed insurance companies, and which is why they believe that ICICI Prudential at this point of time is a buy.
Okay, buy, and the stock is gaining 1.8%. But on the flip side, what's losing is LVB. This after today's ET has reported that the RBI has sort of intensified its fit and proper checks on the managements of Lakshmi Vilas Bank and India Bulls Housing, both of which, of course, have plans to merge. This is after fresh accusations of wrongdoing and the sudden exit as well, of course, of the bank CEO. In fact, RBI has told the companies not to exchange information and barred management interaction pending approval. That's what sources have said. Of course, this heightened scrutiny as well is following that PIL in the Delhi High Court, alleging irregularities, diversion of funds, etc. Both of these stocks will be in focus. Remember that this merger proposal had been put forward to the RBI, I think in the last 1 odd year. And now, of course, still pending that approval. Stocks today in the red. Okay, Hemen, today some of these FMCG companies seem to be gaining Asian Paints after once again reacting to that fall in crude yesterday, showing a bit of a bounce. What's your view?
I would have a hold on the stock, Movina. We've taken support on the 55-day exponential moving yesterday. We've come up from 1620. We're slightly oversold. The stock is setting the stage for a recovery of sorts. There is minor long build-up happening. So I would suggest a hold. Stop loss 1520, target 1560. The recent swing high was around 1570. We should come somewhere close to that.
So it's a whole call, target 1560 for Asian Paints. Vivek, MGL, Jefferies is pretty optimistic on this one. What's the reason?
Well, Mubina, have a look at most of these oil and gas companies, especially look at Mahanagar Gas. What's actually going to happen is that a lot of them are beneficiaries of the increasing, prominence as well as clean energy fuel is concerned. Jefferies has gone ahead and maintained a buy. They believe that at this point of time, valuations for MGL are quite cheap. They believe that the overhang of the stake sale that the company had as far as British Gas is concerned is slowly ebbing away. And at 13 times 1 year forward, they believe that at this point of time, there's a good risk-reward ratio as far as MGL is concerned.
Yeah, the stock is, tempered a little trade, 0.5% down. Varun, Sterlite Tech, what exactly are the reasons that you're flagging this one off today?
There's no specific trigger today in terms of any report or outcome, but if you just look at the stock, it's lost about 2/3 of value over the last year. Now the opportunity size has only grown. 75% of global brokerages actually have a buy rating on the stock. Now, there's a huge global thrust on 5G. Many countries are conducting pilots. But even here locally, just for the backhaul and fiber to home, there's a serious revenue trigger for this company. And I think it's a business that's here to stay. And I believe that right now the current price represents an extremely attractive entry point for investors.
All right, that is Sterlite Tech, 2.25% higher in trade today, and just in general talking about how there's been a massive erosion in the stock price, and that perhaps is something that provides some cushion. Okay, MMTC, that's the big news maker of today. A massive fall seen in the stock, 13.5% down. This after today's ET has reported that the government actually plans to shut down MMTC, STC and PEC. Remember, this is after the government has done a scrutiny on some of these PSUs that need to be shut down, lock, stock and barrel. These three have been selected. However, to get a complete clarification, we spoke to Ved Prakash, the CMD at MMTC, and he gave us an idea of the kind of changes that the company would undergo, along with the extent of divestment expected, and the plans that the government has for the company. Listen in.
Government has to take a call on that. We have to revamp our operations in the competitive world, and which we have already initiated. Joint ventures which are loss-making or which are unviable, we have already initiated action, but the process is on as far as MMTC is concerned. For the time being, on the percentage of stake sale, what we hear is only 15%, but the government, if it decides that I'm not aware of any decision. And as far as the issue of divestment, we have not heard anything on that.
Okay. Well, let's continue with the countdown. We were talking about consumption stocks and how they are steady today in trade. Hemen, Godrej Consumer is one such stock. What is your observation? How would you recommend traders go about this one?
Frankly speaking, too late to buy, too early to sell. I would suggest partial profit booking, assuming viewers have a position on the stock. One, the stock is slightly overbought. Two, one can expect stiff resistance at around 660. We've seen that already, Mubina. We've gone to an intraday high of 662 and we're at 663 right now. 660 was the previous swing high on 9th August. And the stock has moved from 575 to 660. So it's almost in 85-point move, frankly speaking, Mubina. So I don't expect it to go up further without a small breather. It's not a short, it's not a long. The book partial profit at that.
Partial profits, that's Hemen's view on Godrej Consumer. Very quickly, Vivek, today's sale is seeing the most amount of outperformance in trade. What's the news?
Well, quite interesting. People have scanned through the annual report and they're actually saying that at this point of time, there's a company that has excess inventory in terms of some of its mineral production. They believe that the Ministry of Steel may allow the company to sell up to 25% of the actual mineral production. This is something that is keeping the stock quite buoyant in the trade today and up almost a little over 4.5% in the session today.
Well, off the day's high, but still gaining. On that note, Vivek, Varun and Hemin, thank you for joining us on Market Fatafat for that quick wrap of the 20 buzzing stocks of today. Of course, today on The Money Show, we are going to be talking about how the Income Tax Department has made it, or rather should we say, loosened the news of sorts on TDS defaulters, on income tax defaulters. So we are going to be discussing those new rules. And also, of course, even the tax department is going online in a more full-fledged manner. Faceless scrutiny, that's going to be the new trend. No longer taking trips to the Aikar Bhavan. This is going to be something that will be the cynosure of all eyes. So we are going to be discussing all these new norms today. In our first segment of The Money Show. Also, what's in LIC's tech term plan? It's the second plan that LIC has announced within just 1 month. We are going to be reviewing LIC's tech term plan. All of this lined up on The Money Show today.